So I was just walking around and thinking about one of the concern trolls that I've heard a lot about, like people suddenly caring about what's happening now because they can see it. They're like, "Oh, well, like this has been happening like the whole time and this one is different because you can see it on your phone." And it yeah, obviously every word, every historical thing is so far removed from the viscerality of it by just words. Like when you hear the word genocide, right? You can think of a bunch of different things, but when you actually see from people's lived experience, like people carrying their loved ones in shopping bags, yeah, that's gonna hit different, and it should. And that underlines a very important thing that I really feel like everyone, especially the broader left, needs to hear. The right wing got the memo a long time ago that the internet is a very, very powerful way to reach people, to change hearts and minds, and to do it in a place where people are at home, where they are like vulnerable, not in a bad way, but just like they're not like on guard because they're outside and prepared to deal with the world. They're just at home thinking and looking for things and ready to receive information. And the right got that message with 4chan. The reason the internet is such a cesspool when it comes to like the gaming world, the reason Gamergate happened is not because people are just inherently shitty. It's because people went on there and they made those environments toxic. They did it on purpose because they knew that the internet is a great way to reach people. And yet we still have people saying stuff like, get offline and go do stuff like in the real world, as if the internet isn't the real world, as if the stuff we're seeing coming out of Rafa and Han Yunis right now isn't the real world. I keep saying we have to start saying online versus offline because it's all the real world. It's all real. And now we have access to more of the real world because of the internet. These two things are not in any way disconnected. They are one and the same. And we have more access to it now than humans ever have. And we're acting like we don't. I was alive when the Rwandan genocide happened, and I heard about little bits of it on the news, and I heard that we weren't going to do anything about it, but I didn't know anything. I didn't know who the Hutus and the Tutsis were, and like I didn't have any way of really easily getting that information in a way that was like quick enough for it to just be something that I, as a person who's not a historian, as a person who wasn't a journalist and was like a kid at the time too, right? Like there was no way for me to just access that information. So it just basically rolled over me. And that's not like an indictment of me as a human or anyone else who didn't have access to that information at the time. And we have to understand that we live in a really, really important time in history, and just how new that moment is, just how new and powerful social media is. It's not either or, it's both and. Get to know your neighbors, find things in your community that are near you if you can, because a lot of places there's basically nothing. But also, find those deep, super special affinity groups based on values that are online on the places that we can reach them right now. Because they're trying to take them all away. And they are doing that because they know how effective it can be. And now that we are getting a hold of that information and those tools and starting to use those tactics to organize things like A15 and like all the other actions that are going on right now, like they're shutting it down now because we are starting to use it as effectively as they have been using it for some time. So we don't have much time to catch up.